Welcome back to Live with Ariel Niu. Another live stream with Ariel Niu, that's me. Today I'm going to talk about how to have a confident presence. And let me just see if this is right. I need more light in here. It's okay. I'm also going to go on Instagram Live right now. So thank you guys for joining. Let me just, this is a good angle. Okay, sure. Okay. So we're live now. Hi. Today we're going to talk about having a confident presence. So that includes your facial expressions, your body language, but it's coming from the inside. So I have a lot of my own experiences and stories behind this. So that's why I wanted to jump on here to talk with you guys about this, having a confident presence. So hi, Instagram. I just posted on my stories too, asking you guys to let me know your questions or just let me know situations in your life, if you like, where you have trouble with cultivating a confident presence. Or you feel like you try and then you lose it a lot of times. So feel free to ask me questions. You guys can put in the question box on Instagram, and then on YouTube, you guys can just comment. And this live stream will be saved on my YouTube afterwards. So for anyone that's new here, my name is Ariel Niu. I create content and I coach on self and social dynamics. And today we're going to talk about how do we have a confident presence when we're with others. So for me, I really feel like confidence is subjective, contextual, and intentional. Subjective, contextual, and intentional confidence. Because when you first hear confidence, you might feel like, okay, it's all about being extroverted. It's all about like, you gotta just show yourself. But the thing is, we've all experienced this, whether it's from ourselves or others, where we try to be really expressive and it doesn't work, it backfires, or you can tell that you're not actually being confident. And sometimes it's the people that are really chill and they're not talking that much, but they exude confidence, right? But obviously sometimes you do have people that are very expressive and you feel like, okay, they're really confident. You're impressed by that too. So that's why it's really subjective, contextual, and intentional. Intentional meaning you really want to know who you are yourself, and you really need to be able to accept how you naturally express yourself. That was a journey that I went through, just really understanding all the different ways that I express myself, when I'm more expressive, when I'm less expressive, and getting to the point where I feel comfortable in these expressions. So I'm not using it, I'm not forcing it a lot, because for example, some of us are more extroverted or introverted, or we have both sides. When we get anxious, and it still happens to me a lot of times too, we will push that expression, right? Like maybe like for example, me, I have a very expressive side. You're gonna see it through this live. And I used to get anxious while I'm being expressive. It's almost like a blend of confidence and anxiety. And I will start to push it. So when I'm expressive, I start to feel anxious. I don't slow down, I push it. But when I push it is when things backfire and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be confident, but like people are not buying into it. I'm losing my flow, or it's starting to become awkward. So that's why you have to really get to know your expressions so that you understand when you're starting to push it, you're starting to force it, or if it's coming naturally. So that's why it's intentional. You have to, whenever we go into social interactions, we want to be intentional about how we want to present ourselves that day or in that interaction. Confidence is also subjective and contextual, just like what I was saying earlier. In some cases, confidence will be shown, or you exude more confidence if you're more relaxed and you're more stoic, and it's contextual to what's currently happening in the environment or who you're interacting with. What is the goal of this interaction? So just know that confidence is not always about being super expressive, okay? It's really more about relaxing into ourselves, being comfortable with ourselves, and then being very conscious about our thoughts and emotions in these live moments with other people. So yeah, you guys can start putting your questions in a question box. Go like the ones that you like so I can prioritize addressing them that way. Feel free to leave me comments too, but I'm just gonna get through a few more notes first before I start to take your questions. So even though confidence is subjective, contextual, and intentional, for me, a lot of times, honestly, it's about relaxing. Like, I could be confident and I can have a very expressive side, but even if I want to be expressive, for me, I always feel like being able to ground myself in these live interactions with others is my key to true confidence. For me, it's always about relaxing. The more I can relax, the more when I do get expressive in these moments where I pick up the flow or I have a point to say or I have a story to share, it comes out more genuinely confident too. Instead of me getting very anxious and then wanting to be confident and then expressing myself and then it's chaotic and I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. So for me, a lot of times it's really about relaxing, like really relaxing so that I can actually be confident. But you definitely want to be certain in yourself, always. That's the biggest thing. Always be certain in yourself when you're trying to be confident, have a confident presence, even if you don't know anything or everything. So, and this is applicable for all situations in life. When you're at work, when you're with friends, when you're meeting strangers, anything. Always be certain in yourself. Even if you're in an environment, let's say you get a chance to be with like, you know, even like the people like freaking you at the United Nations. I just saw this TikTok of this guy. He got to meet all of the world leaders. So no matter what the situation is, even if you're with all these people, you feel like they're authority and you know so much less than them, you still want to always be certain in yourself. I think a lot of us, we feel like if we don't know everything, then we can't be confident. Or if we don't know any or everything, we have to pretend to be confident. That's why the relaxing is so important. For me, having a confident presence, it's really about, I can be always certain in myself, but when I'm certain in myself, I can still be vulnerable. I think it's the most impressive when we're confident is I can still show you guys that I don't know everything. And if you ask me something, I don't have the answer right away. I'll even say it, but my base is still confident. Even if I'm telling you, I don't have the answer, or even I'm a little bit insecure, I'm a little bit shy, or you caught me off guard. I was just meditating outside. I'm in, where am I right now? Budapest. And I always meditate every morning and I get really into it. So I have my headphones on and my Airbnb host, he came by because he owns all the properties here. So he literally like walked by me and I saw him come up the stairs, but I didn't know it was him. And so he like walked by me and I was like really focused and then he like said hi and I was like caught off guard. But then right away I was just like breathe. And I said it, I was like, oh, I don't know what the hell I said in the beginning. I think I just said some random words. And then he kind of smiled at me and I was like, oh, you just caught me off guard. I was just meditating. But then as I'm saying that, I was both shy, but I still have this confident base at the same time. Like I didn't feel bad about it. So what I'm trying to say is just always try to be certain in yourself. Even in environments where you don't know everything, you can still be certain while not knowing everything. And for me, how I can sustain my confidence when I enter a social interaction or a work presentation or even like dealing with families or strangers, whatever. The way for me to cultivate confidence and then be able to sustain it throughout is I try to, and this is also because I have Taurus rising, the way that I present myself. If you guys meet me in person, I'm actually more observant in the beginning. And so other people, you know, if you're more comfortable being expressive right away, do you? But I think it's really sustainable going into an environment and being more observant and don't talk as much in the beginning. So whenever I enter a social interaction, I try to just breathe and regulate myself And I'm just more observant to begin with. I'm just analyzing everyone. If there's people I know, I'll still say hi and I'll still have expressive moments, but I'm just soaking it all in the beginning. And I think this is a really good way for us to just be grounded so that we can sustain this energy throughout. And for me, when I establish more of this, my initial presence is just, I'm grounded and I'm observant. Throughout the conversations with people, throughout the interaction, I can sustain my energy more too, because I'm not going into it like being very expressive, you know, people pleasing, or like, I don't know, like talking a lot. And then if I go in like this, then I kind of have to maintain this energy. So I like to go into everything just kind of like, everyone I meet, just, especially strangers, I like to just be like, I don't talk that much. And by me not talking that much, but I'm looking at everyone, eye contact, and I'm observant, then this is already confidence. And and this is where it's contextual. When you're with strangers and you don't say that much, they start to think about, oh, like, what is she thinking? Or like, where is she doing and everything. So I like to stay grounded and observant to begin with. But then I do let myself be expressive when moments come. So whenever I have a point, this is why you really want to get to know yourself, and you really have to first accept all the ways that you express. Because for me in my own journey, when I was going through times of getting to know how I express myself, I had many times where I start to judge myself. Like I would be like, oh, sometimes I'm I'm too much, because I'm like, I have so much energy and I don't like it. And then I start to judge myself. Or sometimes, because like I said, I enter a social interaction, I'm more quiet to begin with. I like to observe. I'll look at other people that are just like very energized, very expressive when they first meet people. And I'm just like, am I not confident enough? So that's why you got to get to know yourself first. You got to get to know all the ways that you express yourself. And that's the only way you can really accept yourself, and then be able to go into environments with other people, with other energies, and not feel like you need to be more this or that, because you already know yourself. You already know how you express. Once you know yourself though, and you know how to express, then you can start to hone the ways that you deliver your words, the ways that you pronunciate your words, your body language, your facial expressions. The first part is always accepting yourself, accepting how you naturally express, and then you can start to refine. So that's what I did in my journey too. So I'm more grounded and observant to begin with, but then when I have moments, I'll pick it up and I'll be more expressive. And I'm gonna start to take some of your questions soon, so keep putting it in the question box. But a few more things, speaking to body language and facial expressions, because I know you guys are gonna ask that. Honestly, eye contact takes you so far with confidence. And people that are afraid of eye contact, it's really, you just gotta get over the initial fears that you have. Because before you really understand that eye contact is nothing to be scared about, you get very scared to look people in the eye. But once you know that it's actually very easy and you can actually relax into your eye contact, it's just, if you have eye contact down, then a lot of the other confident ways that you express yourself, you present yourself, will just come naturally. So I want to emphasize that, because there's a way you can do eye contact with people while being relaxed. Because I think another thing is we try to eye contact sometimes, but then we start to feel awkward, or we feel like we start to overthink it. But that's why it's this balance. The way that I do eye contact with people is whenever I meet anyone, I'm very good at eye contact. I look at them, but the way that I sustain it is I keep this energy of both alert and relaxed at the same time. So even like doing this on the live, I look at the screen. I'm not looking at really anyone, but I look at the screen and like I use my internal energy to just make sure that I'm very conscious with whoever I'm looking at, but at the same time relaxed. So it's this balance of energy. And when you're able to look at people and you're very direct, you're like looking at them in the eye, but your facial expressions, everything else, you're still more relaxed. You're not like holding it, and you're not overthinking about the eye contact. You're not making it sharp and hard. You're just like in flow, but you're sustaining it. This will just exude confidence. And I always talk about this, but you want to flow with it. So I take breaks. I maintain eye contact throughout, and groups too. Groups, you got to look at everyone. I really just like, whoever's speaking, I'll look at them. And as I'm speaking, I look at people in the eye. I just like go through everyone. But then when a lot of times we lose it is because we are doing the eye contact while we're speaking. So this is where you take breaks. When you do look people in the eye, it does get intense sometimes, right? You start to look at them and you look into their souls and you're just like, what am I even saying? So if I'm talking to people, I'm doing the eye contact. When it's my turn to talk, or if they're telling me something, I'll look at them, but then I'll look away to process. And I know this is so small, and people that are already good at eye contact, you probably don't think about this, but I break it down so that I think it's more logical, like what's actually happening. But when you look at people, a lot of times you lose it and you start to overthink because you're not actually processing what they're saying. So I do the eye contact and I look away to really think about things. And you're gonna see me as I start to take your questions. That's what I do on lives too. Even though I'm not looking at anyone in the eye, even the screen, because there's a lot going on here, I can't fully process what you're saying unless I like look away and I'm just like, right, and I come back. So same thing, when you're talking to people, just maintain the eye contact, be very conscious with them, but as you're talking, you kind of look away. And again, I'm breaking this down, but this is just naturally how humans process. But when we get anxious, we forget that this is how we process things. So we're like looking at them a lot, or we just start to look away, but we're overthinking. When you look away, you're literally just coming back into your own world and you're just like, what did they just say? Or what do I want to say next? You breathe, and then you go back. So I would love to take some of your questions now on overall presence, body language, expressions, situations you're in. Let me know, and then we can talk through it together, okay? Oh, thank you guys for being here. Like I said, Zandra, what is the foundation of confidence? Like I said earlier, confidence is subjective, contextual, and intentional. But I think confidence is mostly about knowing who you are, being always intentional, even if you're just having a good time, you're just chilling. I just want to be chill and I just want to have a good time today. That's your intention then. So everything you do, you're intentional, you're certain in yourself, but in this way where you're open and vulnerable too. So things that you don't know, or even moments of vulnerability, you're not afraid to say it. You can admit it, but you're just, even when you're admitting it, even, you know, sometimes I'm like super shy, or like, I don't know what the hell I'm saying. It happens a lot. I'll just call it out. And maybe in that moment I get a little bit like sheepish, but then I'll come back to my confidence. And even my sheepishness, I feel okay on the inside. I'm not sheepish and like judging myself, putting myself down. It's, you always have, it's self-love. You always love yourself. You're always okay. And you're always certain in yourself, even when you're not fully, even if you're vulnerable, even if you don't know everything. So it's about getting to know yourself, accepting yourself, always being certain no matter what. Fake it till you make it kind of energy sometimes, but you're not faking it in a way where you're pushing or forcing or masking. Thanks, Haley. I have a question. What if you're speaking naturally, but you don't know how to respond when they are just waiting for your response and just nod? Huh? What? Well, if you're just in a conversation and you're taking turns talking, that's why it's about, be very present with them, very conscious, you're very certain, right? That's a foundation of confidence. You have this certainty in yourself, even if you don't have all the answers right away. You're always just like, yeah, I'm okay with me right now. No matter if I know what you're saying or not, no matter if I have an answer or not, You're real and you're relaxed. You're real in the sense that I'm able to just be me. I don't have to share everything, but I'm real and relaxed. And as you're engaging with them, when they're talking, you're giving them full presence. You're listening to what they're saying. You're eye contacting. You're looking away to really process it. Actually, what I just said, the eye contact, this is where the looking away really helps. If you're just looking at them the whole time, you might start overthinking. So really listen to what they're saying. Look away to process it. And in these live moments, you're not thinking about, am I not responding fast enough? Am I not, should I say be this or that? No, you're like there listening. You're present. You're processing. And if they ask you something, you think about it. And if you don't know exactly the answer, you ask them another question. You'd be like, okay, let me think about that. Good question. Can you, what do you mean by this though? I don't really understand what you mean by this. So you can be real, but you have this certainty about you. And if you're asking about facial expressions and body language, that's why like look away, like process, look away, think about it, breathe. You don't have to respond right away. It's okay to take your time. And then look back when you're ready to engage. And if you don't know the answer, ask them a question about it. Great question. How do I appear confident without coming off as rude or cocky? This is why I always talk about superiority and inferiority. We want to try our best to not dip into these imbalances. Confidence is also balance. Confidence is balance in this way where you're real, but you're curated. You're real and you're strategic. So you're not leaning into, obviously you're not people pleasing, you're not feeling inferior. But a lot of people get confidence mixed up with superiority. And most, like obviously if you're in a competition and you want some friendly banter, you can present yourself more superior and you can kind of like play with each other. But in general, I feel like true confidence is not about superiority. Of course not, because when you feel the need to be cocky or being rude, you're actually triggered somewhat. You're triggered somewhat and you're using more energy to present cocky, to present like, I need to show you guys that I'm really confident. So just it's this internal thing you have to review. When you're around people and you're speaking a point or you're presenting yourself, present yourself how you want to present yourself. Speak your points how you want to speak your points. But when you start to feel triggered or you start to feel like some sort of force or you need to prove yourself, that's where you're going to catch yourself. You're going to relax. And instead of being cocky, let's say like someone is calling you out or someone is saying something that is not in alignment with you, you're not going to try to like force yourself on them. You're going to just be, okay, I'm going to breathe and be like, I'll think about what they're saying to me. I'll take my time. And then if I have a point to say that I want to, stand on business, I'll still say it. I'll be like, interesting. No, okay, well, this is what I think. Or, yeah, no, I feel really good about this. I'm so excited. Yeah, I feel really good about this. But you're not going to push it to the point where you need to like add on more. Like, why are you, or, call them out. The confidence is always like me. It's me. You don't need to force other people to need to agree with you or accept you in whatever. The more you can just be fully confident in yourself, but like let everyone say what they want to say. And then if they're saying something, be more so curious and like ask them more questions about it while still maintaining your confident stance. That's it. So a lot of times rude and cockiness is when you're dipping into superiority and it's something about a trigger on the inside that's actually masking insecurity. Of course. Is it okay to have a bubbly, energized attitude in most social interactions? Yes. So like I said in the very beginning, just remember guys, like confidence is very subjective, intentional, and contextual. So it's not one box fits all. No, it's all your expressions. Of course it is. Some people are more mild in their confidence. Some people are more expressive and they're confident. And most of us, I feel like, at least me, I'm dynamic, man. I have times where I'm just more quiet and grounded. And again, that's why it's contextual, subjective, and intentional. I choose what kind of energy I want to be in today. At the same time, I'm also aware of my situation, my environment. If I'm in a situation environment where it's like classy bitches and they're not talking that much, I'm just gonna align with that more because I want to make life easier for me. But if I'm in an environment where everyone's more uppity and I'm also feeling expressive, then I will be expressive too. So it's about going with how you naturally express yourself, what the context is, and feeling good about it. And as you're doing it in these moments, as you're being expressive or being more calm, how you're going to know when to maybe switch it up or when to just relax a little bit is watching your live thoughts and emotions. When you pick up on a flow and you want to be very expressive, do it, you feel it, that's great, you're confident, you're bubbly. But as you're doing it, if you start to feel anxious or you start to feel like, oh shoot, like start to overthink, that's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna take a moment, and this is going to allow you to catch the next flow even better. A lot of times we're like in social interactions and we get confident. By the way, I just posted a video about shifting energy in conversations. I posted a TikTok and reel and short on this too, but I just did a breakdown. It's live on YouTube right now and it speaks to what I'm saying currently. There's a part where I talk about when we get into a flow, when we're talking in conversations, we're socializing. Sometimes we lose the flow, right? Like we feel like we're bubbly, we're excited, or maybe we're more serious, and then someone else's energy, or because we start to look at people and we start to overthink, we lose it. And then instead of us realizing that it's just us forcing the flow, or we start to overthink, we will start to judge how we express ourselves. So just know that it's okay to be expressive. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be more quiet if that's what you want. But it's more about in these live moments, as you're being expressive, as you're being quiet, catching your live thoughts and emotions and being like, am I still on the flow or am I just pushing it, forcing it? And it's just a quick conscious moment catching it. And if you're starting to feel anxious forcing it, it's always better to chill and relax for a moment so that you can catch the next flow better. How to not depend my confidence and mood on other people's behaviors, actions, words. I'll just speak to first how to not overshare because I saw a couple comments here. Yeah, I get it. Like, it's just anxiety, right? Like I think one thing, be more intentional before you enter social interactions, especially if you're about to go into an interaction where there's more, it's like more important to you, even if it's socially, recreationally, if there's, you know, cool people there you want to impress or whatever it is, figure out why you're about to go into this interaction, what your intentions are, like what do you want to get from it. Even if it's recreational, just be more intentional about it. That's going to allow you to decide right before you even enter that interaction who you want to be that day. Sometimes we want to be more expressive, we want to storytell, we want to put ourselves out there. So be clear, right? Be certain. That's a big part of confidence. Be clear before you enter any interaction of the type of person you want to be that day and what you want to show and who you want to be. That's going to already help a lot of the oversharing, because if you're like, okay, today I just kind of want to just be cool, calm, collected, unless someone comes and I really connect with them, then I want to speak more too. But you know, recently I feel like I've been just letting my anxiety take over and I just start to word blab a lot. So today I'm just gonna be intentional. I'm gonna practice just being more calm, chill, but not in a fake way, just like real chill me. The me that I'm at, like when I'm at home by myself and I feel confident when I'm by myself. I'm gonna practice that socially today. So when you're intentional, then you're gonna remember in these live moments, right? You can start to engage in storytelling, but because you're always coming back to your intention, you're certain about yourself, you're gonna share something, someone's gonna ask you something, you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, no, I went last year. Yeah, it was great. because you remember your intention, you're not going to keep talking. You're like, oh yeah, wait, calm, cool, collected. So you're going to address that question, but you're going to take a break and you're going to look at them and you might ask a question back. So what was your experience being there, instead of you oversharing? And you're going to let them ask you questions for you to further share. So number one is be more intentional before you enter a social interaction. Number two is, as you're talking in conversation, just remember to ping pong more. When someone asks you something, answer it, but don't feel the need to start telling the whole story. Answer the question, stop, smile. You don't even have to say anything after. Or stop, smile, ask them a question back on the same topic. And if they're curious to learn more, they will ask you. And every time they ask you again, you're just gonna do a quick checkpoint, breathe, remember, okay, don't need to overshare too much, so I'm gonna just give a little more. Oh yeah, no, the food was amazing. I love the seafood. Yeah, I love sushi. And then wait for them to say. So it's always, you just relax, say something, relax, ask a question or not, and wait for them to respond to you back. Okay, but how to not depend my confidence and my mood on other people's behaviors, actions, and words, etc. Oh, also another point of what I was just saying, regulation. Remember to regulate. You forget about these things when you're not regulated. So always breathe in between, slow down in between, breathe so that you remember these things. Yeah, I know it's not easy, Ruki Kashudar. How to not depend my confidence and my mood on other people's behaviors, actions, words. But this is where you got to get comfortable with balance. For us to feel confident and feel good at the same time when we're interacting with others, it's a balance. And it's true confidence. And if you want to get to a point where you truly feel comfortable with other people and conscious, doesn't mean there's not going to be moments where you have to reflect on, and doesn't mean that there's not going to be any awkwardness or any tension points, okay? The point of all of this is for us to have the toolkit so that we can go into any interaction, and no matter what happens, even if there's uncomfortable moments, awkward moments, we leave feeling okay. We might have to reflect on some things, and we might still have areas where we're like, okay, I'm going to just practice that a bit more. I was a little bit, a little bit people-pleasing there. But throughout that, I'm still feeling okay. So it's balance. It's your, oh, there's my host again. You're going into every social interaction, and true mastery is getting to this level where you're not suppressing anything. You're not observing. You're observing everyone. You're observing everyone's behaviors, actions, words, responses. You're very observant. You're very conscious. But instead of you getting triggered by it, you're taking notes. You're taking notes so that you can flow and you can respond with presence, with confidence. And you're taking notes so that you can reflect after too. And even if there's moments where you're like, ooh, I don't know, maybe this person, are they judging me? Are they judging me? You're still not gonna get triggered in the live moments. You're just gonna make a note, be like, that's kind of weird. I'm gonna think about this after. So that's why, going back to, it's having a certainty always being okay, just always knowing that it's all good. And just knowing that this is the only way, like fake it till you make it. It's not about masking confidence. Once we start to mask it, we start to push it, that becomes superiority and people can tell. It's just, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be conscious, I'm gonna observe everyone, I'm gonna even observe their actions, behaviors, but I'm breathing and I'm telling myself, no matter what, I'm okay. And I said this on my last slide, also realize that if you're on a self-development path, you're watching my videos, you're following NiuViews, I talk about this shit all the time, then you're also the best you've ever been right now. Like right now in this moment, you're literally the best you've ever been, right? This is the most amount of information, understanding, knowledge, understanding of yourself you've ever been. So don't discount that. Like if you know that you're the best you've ever been right now, then enter every social interaction knowing that this is the best I've ever been right now, so I can relax. And the thing is, we're in life. We're in a world where we want to get better. We want to refine ourselves. We want to make our dreams happen. How do we do that? Obviously, we gotta work on ourselves. We gotta practice. You guys have no idea how much I went through my journey too. Like I'm happy to share with you guys so you guys can ask me questions about me too. But yo, it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, man. Mostly tears, but you just learn to love yourself and refine yourself at the same time. That's the only way to live every day in happiness while always improving. So be aware of everyone, but always know that you're the best right now and this is the only way for you to feel good. So that's it. Yes, your time will come. Your time will come, and now it's time for you. Wait, Aritan? Let me see. I'm not engaging enough in conversations. I tend to listen more than reciprocating by speaking new ideas. I love listening to people, but lately it's frustrating me because I'm not acknowledged enough. Ooh, that's a good question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, your time is here. Your time is here. But first of all, it's amazing that you're a great active listener. We don't have that enough in this world, so appreciate that about yourself. But that is how you're going to be a more engaging conversationalist too. You already got one half down. All you got to do is, as you're being an active listener, well, and this is a test to see if you're actually an active listener. If you're truly an active listener, then those are all the points that you're going to speak to next. And there's two parts here. You want to be more engaging in speaking, but you also want to talk about yourself more, right? I understand. If you're always just listening to other people, you also want to have the spotlight sometimes. That's good. So let's speak to both of that. Number one, you want to be engaging just in conversation with them as you're actively listening to them. So when you're listening to them, be present, doing the eye contact, look away process. But as they're telling you a story or as they're telling you things, you're gonna start to first just practice talking more. So you're gonna ask them questions. When they're saying stuff, be on the side, be like, oh, okay, cool. And then listen, and don't be afraid to cut them, like interrupt them at times. Not all the time, but if you're trying to practice getting your words in, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, so there's so much work last week and I was just like doing this. I had no time. It was just all work last week. Then you're gonna cut them and you're gonna be like, oh really? So what kind of work are you doing right now? Why is it so frustrating? So as you're telling you things, you're just gonna start to ask questions and don't be afraid to jump in and ask questions. And then how you're going to share more about yourself too is as you're asking questions, loop into your own story. So if they're like, yeah, so work has been so frustrating, like I have no time, just all work, no time. You're gonna be like first, oh really? What kind of work are you doing? Wait, what kind of company do you work with? I actually don't even know. And as you're saying that to you can be like, yeah, I understand. I understand. You know what? This is actually what I do. So I actually work for this company and this is my role. And whenever I get stressed out, whenever I don't have enough time, this is what I do. That's how you're gonna start to talk about yourself more. And this is actually the true hallmark of a good conversationalist, both active listening and knowing how to engage. You're actively listening to their story and you're not just like listening and not saying anything, because if you're just listening and not saying anything, the other person doesn't feel heard still. So you want to be listening, ask the questions, and then loop it into your own story on the same point. Let me know if that helps and if you have further questions there. Yeah, definitely. It's obviously always easier if you're in conversations where you're actually feeling genuine interest about the topics you're talking about. However, though, every time, it's a practice. So you can do this with any conversation, even conversations where you have no interest in. And that's where you should practice this. You want to go into every conversation, and even if you don't have any interest, that's why you ask the question. Because maybe in the beginning, especially if you're talking to someone, they're just complaining, surface level complaining. We all do this a lot in conversations. Obviously, it's not that interesting, but that's why you're gonna listen to them. They're complaining about surface level things. Then you're gonna choose a point that they're talking about, and you're gonna ask them a genuine question so you can get deeper on it. And then once they tell you more about it, then you can be like, do I have a relevant story to share? And you loop it into your story. And that's how the conversation will get to a more interesting place too. And I speak to this in my newest YouTube video that I just posted. So Ariton, you can go watch that. I just posted it yesterday. Denise, I tend to be more antisocial after not talking for a bit. How can I be always happy and positive, social and ready for a conversation while being approachable? I think this goes back to, number one, it's okay that you're not always super expressive. If you want to be, then make that a goal. And if you're happy and positive, you can still enter a social interaction without needing to say so much first. But for example, me, I used to think that if I'm in a social party, I need to just be expressive. Actually, that was my journey. I started back in the day when I first started NiuViews. The reason why I started is because I've always been social. I've always been good at hosting people. I've always been good at socializing. But that was also a lot of times the bane, my kryptonite too, because I would feel like I'm using a lot of energy. And I would feel like, but sometimes it seems like, sometimes yeah, it works, but sometimes I just feel like it doesn't work, or people aren't actually listening to me, and it's frustrating. So then as I went through my own journey, I learned that it's about me just relaxing into however I want to be in that live moment. And that is the only way you're actually going to be happy and positive and be able to engage is, Dennis, you're going to enter the social interaction, and depending on how you feel that day or who you want to be, you relax into how you are right now. And then being approachable is way more about your facial expressions, your body language, versus you needing to talk right away. When you feel the need to talk right away, when you're forcing it, that's when it's not going to go the way that you want. So I recommend just going into a social interaction. If you do want to be approachable, use your body language. Get a drink, walk around, have this alert and thoughtful and open presence, but not pick me. You're not like, oh, I need to do this, or I need to join this, and you're not feeling inferior, you're just, oh, not sure. No, you're just chill. It's all good. I don't need to be talking right away, but I have this open body language, and I'm just walking around. I'm looking at everyone, I'm smiling, and I'm facing people as I'm looking at them. I might just step into, there's a group talking, I'll just listen in. And it's my choice. It's me being sociable is for me. I want to have a good time. So it's not about you needing to do anything. So you're gonna listen in on this conversation, and you're gonna be like, do I want to be here? Is this something that I want to speak to? If not, no, I'm gonna move forward to another group. And if this is a group that you want to socialize with, you're just gonna stand on the side and you're just gonna listen in first, and you're just gonna smile. And often entering a group, you don't have to say anything. You look at everyone that's talking, and the confidence is just you stepping into it. Don't be afraid to just go into the crowd, go into the group. And what I like to do a lot of times, if I'm not saying anything right away, is I look at everyone, I'm smiling, and I make eye contact with some of the people that are in the group already, and they're not talking. So I just look at them and I smile and I just join in. Sometimes if there's a person right here, I might go in, I'll be like, oh, hi, my name's Ariel, what are you guys talking about? I'll just make an introduction with one person that allows me to just be in this group. And then once I'm in the group, I just smile and I listen to the speaker, and whatever point, if I have a story, I'll just say, hey, I went there before. Even if you just join into the group, that's how you socialize. You start to interact, you start to engage. Oh, I went there before. Yeah, hey, hi, my name's Ariel. Yeah, that's such a great place, right? I love the friggin' salmon there. You look at everyone, and then you can make little comments. Yeah, so where are you guys from? And that you just feel good about yourself. You don't have to be super social right away. You be very observant, and then you just inject yourself. That part will require some confidence injecting yourself, but don't be overthinking it. It's just casual conversations. How do I react when people start to praise me publicly? Sometimes I take it as flattery and my inner critic doesn't let me react calmly to compliments. What is a balanced response? Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking. Kind of like that. Whatever, first of all, if someone's complimenting you, number one, love it. It's good. It's amazing. I understand though. A lot of people have a hard time accepting compliments. I just go like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. One good thing is if it's, I did this TikTok reel, I think a couple weeks ago, and I think I showed how to accept compliments, and my strategy in that one was I would ask questions back. So this works though if they're complimenting you on your work, on something about your work or something that you're doing. And that's a great way for you to ask a question back, because if it's your work, you can be like, if they're like, I love your work, or you do this so well, you can be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What makes you think that it's so good? Like, I would love to know what you think of it. That's really helpful. I always love learning why people like my work, something like that. So you can ask questions back. Obviously, if it's their physical appearance and like things that you're worried, it's gonna be harder for you to ask questions back, but you can still accept it graciously. You can be like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, yes, I got this at the store. So you can tell the story of, if someone's complimenting you physically, tell the story behind it. That's a really easy way too, especially because a lot of times when people are complimenting us on something, it is something that we put a lot of time into, or we probably are working on with ourselves. So just share a little bit more about that. But breathe and know that compliments are great and you want to accept it graciously. So just be okay accepting it. Just smile and say thank you so much, and feel into their compliment. Be like, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And again, you can either ask them a question on why they like it, or you can tell the backstory of it. And you can obviously compliment them back, but you don't always have to do that. Only if you also feel something genuine that you want to compliment them on. Oh shoot, low power, okay. Oh shoot, did I lose you guys for a bit? I had a low power notification. That's a good question. Oh, I'm back, don't worry. But yeah, I have low battery here right now, but it's fine. How to be confident when you're around intimidating people? I get it. I was just in a situation around a month ago, and now we're friends, this intimidating person that came into my presence. But that's it. This is going back to, remember, confidence is subjective, contextual, and intentional, and it's very personal to you. You can be taking, tips, advice from people out there like me, but even my advice to you guys, just always try to meditate on it, because I have a certain personality. I have certain ways of expressing myself. So whatever I'm showing you guys is what works for me too. So it's really about you knowing how you express yourself, what your natural presence is, what feels good to you when you're out there in the world. And think more about all the times where you do feel confident socially. Maybe it's with just family and friends, people that you're confident with naturally. How are you? What is your demeanor? Understand that, and understand if you have different demeanors, different expressions, and accept that first. Because, for example, around a month ago, I was a guest on this small TV series that was being filmed in Toronto, and I arrived on the set and I was in a waiting area, and actually 2 times, I went to film 2 times, and there's this person there. She's just she's part of the production team, but she's very extroverted. And the first time we met, she was very extroverted to begin with. So like she just came on really strong and she like makes a lot of jokes. And even though I am expressive too, like I said earlier, my type of confidence is I'm more grounded. I like to observe. So when I enter a setting, I'm grounded, I'm present, and I'm looking at everyone and I'm just soaking it in, and I kind of engage more slowly to begin with. So for her to come in and being super excited, super expressive, like cracking jokes and like coming up to me and saying hi to me, that was intimidating a little bit, or just a really different energy from me. And in those moments is when you decide, am I gonna be intimidated or am I gonna be curious and I'm gonna just play with it? That is really the shift. That is, are you going to see it as intimidation and start to feel inferior? Or are you just going to accept that this person is very different from you, but you can also be however the hell you want to be? And the more you can relax into however the hell you want to be, then you guys are gonna start to engage and you're gonna both accept the ways that you are, and you're gonna be impressive too. That's literally what happened with this person. She was very energized, very excited, like more so than normal people. And even though I was a little bit triggered in the beginning, not in a bad way, but I was just like, whoa, caught off guard. Right away, I told myself to breathe, regulate, and I went through my intention, breathing balance. I was like, who do I want to be right now? What do I feel comfortable with? And I was like, you know, I still want to be more grounded and observant. I'm new on this set. I don't know anyone here. So I took a breath and she was being all expressive. I'm just like, hi, I'm Ariel. Nice to meet you. And sometimes I'll call it out. Whatever energy you feel intimidated by, you can call it out. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. You're so cool. I love that. And then she was like making jokes and I was just laughing. But at the same time, I'm maintaining my grounded presence because I'm like, I don't need to match to her completely. I can call certain things out and I'm just gonna listen. And as she was being all crazy too, I started to just ask her questions. I was just like, oh, what do you do here? And then she was like being high energy and I was being more grounded. And the more I can sustain my own energy by doing eye contact and I'm smiling and I'm laughing along, the more she got curious with me too. And this is why it's so important for you to be able to accept how you are and sustain it. Because we're all, you know, sometimes I post TikToks and Reels, and for example, the one I just shared a couple days ago on shifting energy and conversation, some of the comments are like, who actually talks like that? Like who actually, because what I did was like, if you enter a social interaction and the other party, I said something like, oh, are you sure you want to talk to us? Like we have strong personalities here. And a lot of people in the comments are like, who actually talks like that? Like no one's actually like, people don't talk like that. But what I was trying to show is, if you really think about it, yeah, people give off that energy a lot. You go into social environments and people that are different from you, they'll present an energy that is intimidating and you might even feel like they're being a little bit mean or rude. But a lot of times it's just how they naturally are. I just use more of that the direct words to show the energy. But what I'm trying to say here is when we feel intimidated by others, it's a lot of times that's just their natural personality. It's just naturally how they are. But subconsciously though, if you're not able to match, you don't need to match them, but if you're not able to hold your own when you're engaging with them, subconsciously, they will take advantage of it. They will just kind of play with you a bit, you know, especially if it's like extroverted people. They see you a little bit nervous and scared, they might tease you a bit, or they might just like put that energy on stronger. They're not trying to be mean to you, maybe a little bit, but it's just natural human beings, right? If you're in a group and you're super confident and someone comes in, you might, yeah, some people will just be like, oh, really nice and kind. But sometimes, you know, you're feeling good, you might just kind of play with it, right? So that's why the intimidation, I understand, but it's really just about you holding your own. You deciding what kind of presence you want to be in while being open to them, letting them be how they want to be and being curious about it, being entertained by it, holding what you want, but also appreciating who they are and getting curious by it. And then the more you can do that and even calling it out, you can say that you like their energy. Then the more that they're gonna see that, oh, you're also confident in however you're expressing. I like that. And then you guys can engage. And that's what happened with the person I met. We connected, even though we're very different, but because I maintained my confidence and she maintained her status. And the more you can do that, the more you're gonna start to see like them holistically. The more I just got comfortable with her, the more I see that like her high energy is like her way of first presenting yourself, and then you can kind of see her own insecurities in some areas too. You guys are so polite in the comments. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Oh shit, hold on, my TV. My TV just like wants to turn off sometimes. Wait. Hello? Oh, there. What you say? I changed schools and need help. That's why I need friends. That could be helpful things there. Since there are things I can't do alone, unfortunately, there are already bad assumptions about me. What bad assumptions about you? Tell me more. But just know that HRXRE, don't focus on these bad assumptions you're thinking. The more you focus on these bad assumptions, the more you're creating it more. Whatever assumptions, now this is a brand new moment. You gotta be okay with who you are, and you gotta enter into school presenting yourself in any way that you want, but being okay with it. And why can't you do things alone? Why can't you do things alone? I actually think that was my journey too. You need to be confident in exploring things yourself before you can truly have friends in a way where you're confident with them too. If you go into a new school and you feel like you need to depend on other people coming to accept you or do things with you, then you're always going to be kind of insecure. And don't see it as a bad thing too. See it as you're in a new school and you have the choice of friends you want to make and what kind of experiences you want. And I would recommend try to engage with more people. One thing I regret about my high school, even though I have amazing friends and then they're still friends to this day, was I was pretty cliquey. Like my friends group was cliquey. So we just always hung out with the same people. But now that it's been so long since I was in high school, but I look back and I see I am still connected to a lot of people I went to school with, and all these different people, I'm just like, wow, I never really got that close with them. And they're doing a lot of interesting things and they're great people. So I wish I gave more time to just getting to know people. You gotta just be confident in putting that energy out first. And also remember, anyone that doesn't respond in the way that you like, that's your red flag, green flag, check. If people are rude to you or they're just not giving the energy that you want, then it's just your own note of, okay, maybe I don't want to be that close with this person. So just go into school, people that you're feeling like attraction with, friends platonically, you just go up to them and be like, hi, my name is this, I'm new here, what classes do you have? Introduce yourself to as many people as possible. Go check out all the clubs, like put yourself in there, and then you be the decider of who you want to hang out with more after. I'm a very smiley and nice person, so when I try to be serious or convey something to my team, I'm not taken seriously. How to be taken seriously while still being who I am. It's okay to be smiley and nice. And again, it's not about changing who you are. If I just had a client, you guys can book one-on-one coaching with me too. If you guys want personal support on your overall presence, your expressions, book coaching with me. It's in my bio link and it's in the description. But my last client, same thing. She was like, I want to be more, I want to have more authority. I want to be this and that. I want to be blah, blah, blah. But the moment she came in, her presence, she was very bubbly, expressive, and it's so beautiful. Like it's such a natural part of her, and for her to want to discount that and to suppress it, and I was like, okay, let's role play. So I told her to try to engage with me, and the moment she started to like put up a front, that's way less confident than her going off of her natural expression. So what I recommend you do is don't discount your smiley, nice self. You can be that and be confident. You want to hold both at the same time. So when you're with your team, because you're friendly and nice, you're gonna go in, you're gonna ask everyone how they're doing. How are you guys doing today? Really? Great. What'd you guys do this weekend? Oh my gosh, really? I love that. However smiley, nice you are, do that first, get everyone comfortable, but you have the space of confidence though. Once you're about to speak, you're still gonna be smiley, but you're gonna be like, thank you everyone for meeting today. Okay, so today I have 3 things that I want to go over. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna be concise. You're gonna be intentional before you go in to meet your team. You're going to know what you want to say. You're gonna be clear on the points that you want to share, and you're gonna be concise when you speak to these points. So nice and smiley. You can still be nice and smiley throughout the whole thing, but I'm gonna be like, okay, A, B, C for these are the 3 things I would like for us to do today or this week. Try to use we so that you can still, we just is kind, nice, but we is also confidence. We're gonna do this, okay? And then you're gonna you're gonna be concise in your points. And you're going to try to use more dynamics as you speak too. A lot of times when we're nice and kind and bubbly, we'll start to only carry that tempo. Like very expressive, very kind, very nice, talking really fast, and this often goes into people pleasing very easily. So you're gonna be kind and nice, A, B, C. So this week we're going to be tackling these 3 things. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm almost out of battery here, but for A, I thought about it this last week, and I love what we were doing last week, but these are the points I think we can improve on. Any questions so far? What do you guys think? So you're gonna give everyone eye contact. You're gonna pick up the pace when you feel like you have a point to make, but you're gonna slow down. You're gonna look everyone in the eye and you're going to ask them questions. So switch up your dynamics. It's okay to still be bubbly and kind, but just be concise and decisive with whatever you're presenting. And a lot of these techniques will come naturally when you're fully confident in what you're saying. You just gotta be certain. Whatever you want to share with your team, you're certain about it. You're certain in a way where you know what's gonna work, but you're also open. That's why you give the room the opportunities for them to also ask questions back or say certain things. And that's why the biggest thing is like, yeah, the certain confidence that you sustain within. Even if they ask you questions or you feel like they don't always take you seriously and they ask you something back, you're not gonna be scared of it. You're gonna listen to it and you're like, oh, well, are you sure that's gonna work? Like, I don't know if that's gonna work. You'd be like, no, I'm sure, because I reviewed what we did in the last few weeks and I came to this new solution. But why are you asking that? Do you have another reason or do you have another perspective? I'm happy to expand on the plan if we have logical points to discuss. So feel free to tell me more about what you think. So you have this certainty about you, but at the same time, you're open to having whoever, whatever, say whatever, and you accept it, you discuss it without losing your own certainty on the things that you're sharing too. Yeah, I'm just catching this last point. Interviews are definitely 2 ways. Definitely ask your questions too. Okay, I'm gonna end this live here today. Thank you guys so much for joining. I know you guys have a lot of great questions, but I do these weekly lives all the time. Some of them are saved on my YouTube. All of them are saved on my subscriptions. So if you guys join my subscriptions, you guys can access all of my live stream replays, or you guys can subscribe on YouTube, and I do post some of them on YouTube. I also posted a new Q&A live I did 2 days ago on my subscriptions. I just posted it, so you guys can access that one too. So I'll be back to answer more questions soon. Thank you guys so much for joining. Today we did talk about a confident presence. So you guys can rewatch this on YouTube if you joined after. In the beginning, I went through most of my points and then I took your questions. So feel free to watch that back. Again, if you guys would like personal support, a lot of your questions, especially with your unique situations in life, it's way better if you book a session with me because you fill out a form so I understand what you're actually going through. We actually can get very personal. And what I like to do is role play. So I encourage you to prepare, be intentional with my sessions. Think about what you're trying to refine or improve so that when you come in, I can actually observe you. I also give you a little energy reading if you're open to that and curious. And in every session, I will give you a recording and a summary of our session, my social dynamics guide, a mini energy reading if you're interested, my energy reading guide, and you get a personalized report on your own unique strengths and abilities. So it's a lot of resources to help you better understand yourself, be more intentional in your life, and then you can then go and interact with others with more confidence and grace. And I help you with things like your presence, your delivery, your speech. So it's a great way for me to actually meet you and help you with specific things you're going through in life. So I hope to see you guys in my coaching sessions. If not, come back to my lives. I love doing these lives with you guys. And that's it. What day is today? Monday? It's Monday. Have a great week, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for engaging with my content, supporting me too. Honestly, I need it. It's very helpful whenever you guys support me and engage with me. So please comment on my videos. Let me know what you love. You can tell me feedback too, but when you guys love me, it makes me really happy too. So I'm really grateful for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here because this whole thing, everything I talk about, I went through so much in my own life too, so much pain, trials and tribulations. So your support and engagement, I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So have a great week. And if anything, if you don't want to have any of my services, products, have a lot to offer you guys can also give me a donation if any of I answer your questions, if this is helpful for you guys. You guys can find it in my bio link. You guys can find it in my description below too. Also, sign up for my emails. It's also in my bio link in my description because I'm going to be surveying you guys soon. I'm going to come out with a social scripts product. A lot of the questions you guys just asked in this live, I'm going to give you guys starting scripts, probably sharp, soft, and playful options, scripts, like responses you can use in social situations, not just responses, things like conversation starters too. So I'm going to survey you guys through my email list on what kind of situations you would like some support in. If you guys have gotten my workplace boundary scripts, it's going to be similar. That one is already out there. So if you have problems with communicating boundaries in a workplace, you can get that. I give you guys sharp, soft, and playful responses to common workplace situations where you want to express and communicate boundaries. And I give you the breakdown on what I'm actually doing. That's the most important part. So my next scripts is going to be on social situations. So you guys can join my email list if you want to be surveyed on what kind of situations you would like to see scripts for. That's it. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Remember, when in doubt, just gotta see things from a new view. Just gotta see things from a new view. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.